Welcome to new video. We are in the series of nameplates. Let us discuss about the nameplates. In last video we have seen the nameplate of a pump. Now we are concentrating on the nameplate of an engine. So this is the diesel engine nameplate. So here Field Marshal is the brand, is a registered company with the ISI mark, and you can make out engine number, that is CAR97694, and model is GF1. So here GF1 means GF stands for Gujarat Forgings and 1. Basically this GF1, AV1 and all, this is the type of the engine, because this type of the engine is mainly derived from English Petter series of a British company. So they mention like that finally 1, the number 1 stands for the brand or the type of the engine, I can say. The GF1 for Field Marshal and AV1 for Kirloskar, like that. The type is mentioned with the model. And as all of you know that kilowatt and HP. So kilowatt is 3.7 and horsepower is 5, because 1 HP means 0.746 kilowatt, or 746 watt means 1 horsepower. So RPM of the engine is 1500. Governing class is B1. Here the governing class or the governor works with the centrifugal type, and the centrifugal type movement is controlled with the diesel rack. And the lubrication oil HD is 30, this 30 grade oil, and SFC is 236 gram per kilowatt hour, and the type is BB1 direct injection, and fuel oil is HS diesel, manufactured by Gujarat Forgings Limited, Aji Industrial Estate, Rajkot, India. Okay, so here about the nameplate, what I can show you is this is the old type of engine where you can prominently find in agriculture or in the farming. Basically it is used as a generator engines and all. Let me show you the overview of that whole engine. So this is the generator, and the portion with the green color is the engine, and the portion with the blue is the alternator. Let us see the alternator nameplate here. So Kirloskar Brothers Limited, like what we had in the previous video. Okay, and Kirlogen means Kirloskar Genset, that is its brand. AC generator, serial number and model KBM103, that is Kirloskar Brothers, and output is 3 kVA, not kilowatt, kVA, volts 230, phase 1 means single phase, amps 13, that is a maximum, frequency 50 Hz, RPM 1500, power factor is 1. Caution: operate at rated power factor speed and connect the load as per the power factor only. So now here power factor 1 and 3 kVA, that has a relation. Normally in alternators the power factor normally is 0.8, and in the smaller alternators like light duty alternators you will get the power factor as 1. Otherwise if you get normal power factor with the 0.8, then it is considered as heavy duty alternator, whereas the kVA range will be more. So 3 kVA, when power factor is 1, it is 3 kilowatt. If 3 kVA is with the power factor 0.8, then the kilowatt range should be multiplied by 3 into 0.8, which comes around 2.4 kilowatt. So whenever you speak with some experts in this particular alternator field, they say like 5 kVA, but basically it is not 5 kilowatt, it is 5 kVA, which stands for 4 kilowatt, because 5 into 0.8 power factor, which becomes 4 kilowatt. Okay, let us see about the engine. So this is the fuel tank. In this fuel tank you can see the diesel here inside. Okay, and this is the bracket, and this is the manifold, which is made up of soft iron. And this is the cam cover, this is the cam shaft, where we have to put the handle and turn the cam. And this is the diesel supply line, and here this is the inlet for the cooling water. So this is the water cooled engine, so we have to feed the water here, as the technique says that warm water will be always in a higher portion or in higher altitude. The water will be remain somewhere here. The bore piston is inside this. Okay, and this is the oil filter, and this is the oil pump, this is the oil drain. This is the air cleaner, oil bath type air cleaner. The air which goes into the air cleaner should undergo the oil bath, and then it will be fed into the engine. This is the silencer. Okay, here it is the rocker cover. Rocker cover means it is the rocker arm which will be pushing the rocker arm from the cam. This is the diesel pump which pressurizes the diesel, so that the pressurized diesel will flow through this particular pipe and it will go to the nozzle here. This is the nozzle, and nozzle is also referred as atomizer. The diesel will be pressurized in such a way that the diesel will split into its atom, so it's called as atomizer. And this is the return pipe. The excess supplied diesel will be fed back to the diesel tank again. Okay, and this is the valve cover, or I can show you. This type of nut is called as flower nut or butterfly nut sometimes. This is the plate washer, 1/4 inch plate washer. This is the hot water outlet, and this is the portion of the governor. And you might have used this particular lever whenever you get a chance in order to stop the engine. So how it works? So here is the cam I said, which works with the centrifugal action. There is a small tiny rod which goes from the cam till here, and this particular lever works with the help of that rod which comes from the cam, and it will be pushing the diesel pump like this. The moment when it is being pushed, this will be pushing this particular rod, and this is called as a rack, and the rack controls the amount of diesel supply which goes to the nozzle. And the supply to this particular diesel pump comes from the diesel filter. This is a 1/4 liter or 250 ml diesel filter, and this is the semi micro filter. And here this particular diesel pump operates with the help of the same cam. There will be one more piston here to push the diesel pump upwards. This is the flywheel, as all of you have studied in the theory that it stores mechanical energy. So normally according to our belief, the flywheel is the only device which can store the mechanical energy. So the total weight of this particular flywheel will be something like 35 kg, and the whole engine will be almost 180 kg. Efficiency of any diesel engine like this will be around something like 40%. But what makes this particular engine as a prominent one is its reliability, durability, as well as very less maintenance, and the spare parts will be very cheaper, as well as it's available in most of the places. The total cost of the engine will be something like maybe 25 to 30,000, and again it is available in two types. One is air cooled and one more is a water cooled. This is a water cooled type diesel engine, and there is no ball bearing or roller bearing in this particular engine. The entire engine works with the help of bush bearings. So basically there are two bush bearings. One is here. So here is a bush bearing for the flywheel. You can see the oil circulation pipe here. This is the one oil circulation pipe, and similarly on that side. So the oil will be given to this particular bush, so that there won't be any wear and tear of the bush due to the mass. So this is the bush bearing for one side. The one more comes somewhere here in this portion. Again it's a bush bearing for the same crank, and this is the cam. Again it comes with the bush bearing here as well as here. So this particular portion is called as crank, and this is called as key slot, and this is the whole engine. Now the flywheel is connected with the 2-inch flat belt as a connecting. In the previous video we saw the triangular flange. Now it is a circular flange. So this circular flange is connected to the alternator. Here you can see the key, okay, and it's also called as Gibbs head, and this is the check bolt. And this particular lever is called as a decompression lever. When the bore piston is in compression, the moment when you press this or when you lift it like this, when you lift this particular decompression lever like this, it will be pushing one valve down, so that the combustion chamber will be open and there won't be any compression. And this is about the engine, and this is, now let us see about the alternator. So this is the portion where you can see the armature, and here these are the 3 screws which will hold the bearing, and this is the ventilation. And this particular alternator is called as brush type AC single phase alternator, light duty, not a heavy duty one. And here if I open, you can see the brush. I'll show some of the photos related to that in the next video or next photo. And this is the chassis or the frame in order to carry the alternator wherever it is required. And this particular bolts are called as foundation bolts, and this entire frame is connected in or mounted on the 4 wheels. Here is the portion for cooling of the alternator, because due to the production of electricity as well as the eddy currents, there will be heating effect. This is the warning. It works with the help of carbon brush. Okay, slip rings we have to maintain properly. And this is the hook for lifting the alternator. The total weight of the alternator will be something like 50 kg. And this is the output. And here there are 4 diodes in the bridge connection type. So that is the whole working of the generator, I can say. This is the handle lever in order to start the engine. Here is the small key which we can push like this. So push it like this, hold it like this and turn it. When the key comes to the slot, this key will be getting into the slot like this. Later the whole setup will be single one. like this. It is free to rotate in this direction, whereas it will be locking like this. The beauty of the topic or the generator is, we have studied that when the coil is rotated in the help of or in the presence of permanent magnet, the electricity will be produced. But here there is no permanent magnet, or there are no magnets inside this entire alternator. What then the question is how it produces the electricity. This alternator will be taking or considering the earth's magnetic field in order to produce the first EMF, and we have studied the formula d phi by dt in order to get the EMF or back EMF. So therefore that particular alternator or the coil will be measuring or getting the help of earth's magnetic field in order to get the voltage from the coil, and that voltage will be fed back through the bridge rectifier, so that the DC power goes to the electric magnets or electromagnets, and therefore the feedback process happens. Finally we will get the power from the carbon brush of the armature or the alternator. This is how it works.